you're doing great. Do not buy a vehicle right now. And I'm going to tell you why. And it is because of a handful of factors. First off, I just hung out with two pretty good sized auto dealership owners the other day, and business is not booming. It's doing well in the non-expensive vehicles, the cheap vehicles. But even today, by any standards, an inexpensive vehicle, a much older vehicle, is around $9,000. These are not the days to be buying vehicles. I'm going to go over a story in Zero Hedge talking about excess inventory. And not only that, now dealers are turning back inventory. They are flooded. So now the manufacturers are going to be faced with a very, very serious question. And that is, what do we do with all this excess inventory? We are going to see so much in the ways of discounts in the near future. I believe by this Christmas, you are going to see a sale bonanza when it comes to vehicles. Now, with that being said, everybody that bought the Auto Trader Pro course, the pre-filming discount, if you took advantage of that, there's a link down below if you want to see it. There are now 11 courses up, lessons up in that course. We're about halfway finished filming it. Once the filming is done and everything's up, the discount's gone. Okay, that will be the lowest price you guys can get. I want to help you save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars the next time you buy a vehicle, and make extra hundreds or thousands of dollars when you go to sell a vehicle. So many people list these wrong. They don't know what they're doing when they're negotiating with the dealers. I give you all my experience there, okay? So here we go. This story out of Zero Hedge, and think about this. Oh, let me ask you this. Let's do a quick poll. In your opinion, do you believe we are going to see auto prices crater in 2024? Type 1. Type 2, if you do not think that auto prices are going to crater, we're just going to continue to have much higher prices and we're just going to be stuck with it. I'm just curious what you guys think. All right, here we go. The title says, we have turned away inventory. U.S. electric vehicle market struggles as cars pile up on dealer lots. Now, we've talked about this before. Electric vehicles, they're not all they're cracked up to be. So many people are shocked when they go get an electric vehicle, they charge it at their house, and then they get their first month's electricity bill and they go, what in the heck was I doing? I'm having to waste so much time at charging stations. My life sort of put on hold during these times, and I'm paying all these exorbitant electric bills. It's not worth it. And I see a lot of people that went from owning a Tesla or to a plug-in electric vehicle to going, I don't want this, and went back to a gasser. Let me know down below if you're one of those people. It says here, the rising mismatch between electric vehicle supply and demand is showing up at car dealerships as unsold EVs stack up. Dealerships tell Business Insider that EV supply from automakers has been turned away as demand cools. Rising electric vehicle inventories and a Tesla-fueled price war could signal the beginnings of a pause in growth for the EV market. Let me stop there. And how many of you have heard about what happened with Ford? Their Lightning, their F-150 Lightning is just abysmal. And the CEO himself was shocked when he took that thing on a trip and said, what were we thinking? Companies are taking massive hits, Ford being one of them, on their electric vehicle lines. And they're saying, well, we have these other cars that are selling, they're selling good. But yeah, we're going to take massive losses in this EV space. What's going to happen is as the EV space turns into more of a failure for these companies, they're going to have to sell even more of the normal gas or diesel vehicles because they need to make up for the losses. I believe, and we saw the nation bail out automakers in America in the early 80s. Type 3, if you remember that. It was a big deal. As a matter of fact, we've seen Chrysler bailed out multiple times, right? Because of piss poor management in the past. And we're talking back in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. I believe you're going to see this again, where the nation's automakers petition the government for bailouts. And I think one big reason for that, and they're gonna actually have a case on this one, because they're going to say, you, the government, forced us into this electric vehicle crap, this whole automated ESG crap, all this crap. We're losing our tails and we're going to have to lay off hundreds of thousands of people. So you better bail us out. And I believe that's coming in 2024. But let's dive back into the bigger problems here. It says Scott Coons, the chief operating officer at Coons Auto and RV Group, which sells Detroit brands and Nissan and Mitsubishi in the Midwest, said, "We have turned away EV inventory. Big Detroit brands are asking us to make a large investment in these EVs," Coons added, "and we just want to see some return on that investment." A recent report from Cox Automotive shows automakers such as General Motors, Ford, Hyundai, and Toyota have more than 90 days worth of unsold EVs at dealerships in July. 90 days of inventory. Type 5 is that's bad. I mean, do you agree with me? This is not the time to buy a vehicle. You want to buy vehicles when there are blood in the streets. You know, my car I got for an incredibly smoking deal because I bought it from a dealer that only sold fleet trucks, white pickup trucks. Well, the economy's cratering. Companies have less money. They're not buying any. So this was his car that he's cruising around in town like, oh yeah, I'll drive it for a while. A lot of dealers do this. This is a great part about flipping cars. You get to drive the cars, right? While you sell them, especially when you get nice cars. And he couldn't sell it. He couldn't sell any trucks. So he couldn't even sell this. And I bought it for what he paid for it from an auction. Point being is that he is illiquid and he's going to lose his shop if he does not raise money. And dealers all across the country are like that. The bigger the dealer is, more than likely, the more they're hurting because they put money into these, especially dealers that have rebuilt their brand, their company, and they've got these massive showrooms and new parking lots and all this fancy stuff that they are in debt for. So when their units, their inventory are sitting on the lot, that has a monthly interest rate that they got to pay. The holding costs are immense. Now, this gentleman that owns this large dealership, chain of dealerships back east, he says here, it's not just that these vehicles are expensive, which they are. We're talking about much more nuanced lifestyle change, said Sam Farini, Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting at Auto Forecast Solutions. Farini said some lifestyle changes include 20 to 30-minute charges and range anxiety. I'll tell you what, last thing I need to do is stress out over where the next charging station is. I'm telling you, EVs are useless, in my opinion, unless you live in a city. And you're in a moment, you're like, hey, you know what? I got solar in my house. I'm not paying a lot for electricity. I can charge at my house, and anywhere I'm going to go is within a certain amount of miles. But boy, go on the road trip. Let me know down below what kind of stories you've got, because I've seen places, and I live next to one of the most famous Tesla charging stations down in San Luis Obispo, California, and they turned around. I mean, I don't live near it, but I'm a ways away. But my point being is that it was. I mean, there was like hundreds of cars in line. You're talking like an 8-hour wait for a charge because there was no charging stations anywhere near. Just a total nightmare. Farini said that the changes, the range anxiety, the 30 to 20-minute charges, he says it's hard for the average customer to make that leap while spending an extra $10,000 on the EV vehicle. And not just the price, but also the highest interest on new auto loans since 2009. So as a result, one East Coast Ford dealer told Insider that they were only declining allocation of electric cars from the automaker. Another in the Midwest said lightning orders were piling up, uncompleted, leaving those customers with time to pick a different EV. One Hyundai dealer on the West Coast said they were also passing on EV specific allocation, while another Hyundai dealer told Insider he anticipated having to turn away EVs soon. This means that you are going to see more EVs. They're going to come down in price, but also over the long term, these auto manufacturers are going to have to sell more gas and diesel powered vehicles to make up for the losses of the EVs that they have already produced. That's why patience is a key, and you have to know all these other ways to deal with dealers, how to get dealers bidding for your business, how to possibly use a broker if you want to use a broker, the difference between the different types of auto brokers. There's so many different ways to take advantage of this down market in sales, in the auto industry, and how to save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And then one thing, the biggest key is going to be patience, all right? You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't got patience, you're gonna screw it all up. It said EV demand might have no, that's not even important. Look, this is the deal. It's going to crab in a handbasket. And auto dealers around the world right now, auto manufacturers know that they're in some serious times and they've got to get really creative. I am going to be so excited to report on the price drops around the first of the year, especially when they have to get the late models or last year's models sold before they bring in that new inventory. It's going to be really interesting when we start seeing dealers having to turn down gas and diesel powered vehicles also, because those are stacking up, because people do not have the money at these interest rates to pay $1,000 a month payments. It's going to get really wild. Hope you got something out of this. I'm going to put a link to the pre-filming discount of the Auto Trader Pro. Once we're done filming, it'll be gone. And I hope you guys have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.